Welcome to the Inner Knowing with Erin Rogers. I am Erin Rogers. I hope you are well. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to build off of our last episode. So if you haven't listened to the last one, please go back, check it out. Maybe this one only can stand as a solo. You don't need to. But last episode, we talked a lot about convincing yourself that the dream, that the thing you're chasing, that you are worthy, and shifting into belief, meaning a lot of effort to convince yourself that it's a worthy endeavor. You can do it. You're starting at sort of the start line every day. Versus belief is to be continually in the river, to move through, to move with, to allow it to be easeful. And the aim, I believe, is to be in the river of flow as often as possible instead of convincing. Because I believe the time spent convincing actually can eat up a lot of your creation energy. It's not cute. We don't want that. And so let's assume that you've been able to take that message in, it resonates, you're like, okay, I believe. It's like Dorothy clicking her heels together. Hot tip, it was within her all along. Oh, that Dorothy. And so now, what are the things you can be doing? Because we love a tangible plan to allow that belief to be even easier to tune into, to capture, to stay with. And so, it's not about creating the miracle of like, and now I just believe and it's black and white. It is taking the creation of like the container daily, to choose to step into the river every morning when you wake up, to be in flow, to make it a priority. And so what that feels like is perhaps in the morning, you create some sort of ritual and it really can be very short, right? Like a ritual isn't meant to necessarily be time consuming. It's meant for the intentionality of the stepping in and the delineation of your day. So maybe for you, it's, we love a habit stacking, keep it easy. While you brush your teeth, you speak to yourself and you just say, I'm reminding myself that I'm in the river of flow and there's opportunity for creation, possibility, and infinite magic within the flow. I step into the work that I'm doing today consciously and purposely, and allow it to move through and with me. You can let it be a simple, incantation, really, a spell, a purposeful crossing of the line into that river every day, and until it becomes, if it does become second nature, amazing. But if you need the act of creation, of purposefulness, you don't have to make it some really crazy time-consuming piece. You can do a beautiful ceremony or ritual, but if you're short on time, or you just know that you tend to drop things when there's some resistance because you're building something your heart desires, but maybe you're going through the change of being able to step into it, meaning maybe who you're becoming to be the person that runs the business or shows up in the job is still evolving, right? So like for me, I'm moving from an experience of deep desire paired with deep resistance of my business, and I'm becoming someone who has divine devotion in a way that becomes more second nature, where it's like I create with ease, I create containers, I have prioritization, I acknowledge resistance, but I move through it. I let my tools support me in greater and greater ways. I have a coach to hold my hand, all those pieces, so that I can be daily in my business in a way that before was challenging for my nervous system. And so to have something in the mornings to step me in consciously is a really great help. And so finding that for yourself, and that noticing that when you create something small like that, what's the bigger impact? And I do believe with creation, it is the consistency, which you should know deeply is challenging. That's deeply, I was going to say frustrating, but it's just challenging for me, is that it is a new way of being where it is not the big bang, the big moment of like, boof, creation, cool, love that. But the power is in the consistency, in the continually showing up to create, to be in the flow, to move down the river, to meet whatever arises in those days that you're in flow, and keep going. I think that's a really cool opportunity. And as you continue to do it, your nervous system regulates, you become more acclimatized. It's a normalization of standing in the flow and letting it move with and through you. And that if some days you do step out of the river, this imaginary river, that's okay. But remember that when you step back in, you're not going back to day one. You're just back in the flow of where you left off, because energy is cumulative. All your experiences have added up. You don't forget all those things. So even for me, for an example, I've been doing HR and recruitment for 20 years. those experiences don't go away. They're not throwaway. They completely inform all the ways that I've learned to work with people, understand them, actively listen, tune in. Probably was using intuition in all kinds of ways to make this job more compatible for me, right? For you, it's like, just because you step out or you stop having that belief for a moment in time, a week, a month, a year, to step back in, the muscle of consistency is what you have to grow, but the belief is there. You can fully rejoin that energy and move in and with it. A few other ways that I think can be really supportive are then, secondary to, like, I brush my teeth and I remind myself I'm in the flow every day, to, lighting a candle. Obviously, the artist's way is a really beautiful practice if that's something that resonates you, where you do automatic writing in the morning. And it can simply be writing to yourself, writing to your business, writing to the energy of the day. Like, what would you have me know? How would you have me see this day? What would you have me move through? And so maybe for you, it's starting in that flow and then having a structure to take that flow into, so that you have some consistent ways that you show up. And that's the beauty of being able to have a business where the masculine and feminine are both a part of it, meaning you need structure and you need flow. But flow works best in a structure, meaning a river runs and there's walls where the river is contained to, but it's fully flowing within that containment, and you are the same. And I used to think that wasn't it. But without structure, the chaos of the flow of the femininity is dispersed, where you want it to be concentrated and focused. And so whether that is through meditation, automatic writing, short or long breath work, moving your body, talking to yourself, doing some sort of belief work where you have to support yourself and really tuning in to what's true and possible for you. And that remembering, which I think is really cool, and I'm always reminding myself of that, is that effort compounds. So the more you do it, the more it grows, meaning the efforts become easier, you expand, your energy shows up in different ways. There's all these cool things that happen, but you can only realize that those are created through the consistency of showing up and allowing that compounding energy to show you what's possible. And in that consistency, you become what you are creating. You resonate at a higher degree to what's there because you're living in that energy more and more often. And then it's like your energy stacks, your identity stacks, and then those actions that are aligned to what you're creating become easier and easier to execute because, a vision without action ain't shit. Intuition without aligned action, who the fuck really cares, to be honest, right? Like, cool bananas that you can tell me the future, but if I can't, or you can't act on it, I can't act on it, then fuck, what was the time? What were you doing spending the time just imprinting into the future without any intention of ever actually taking action? And so, for me, there's a lot of things. What I'm currently working on in this space is, and I'm using some of the to be magnetic work as well, which has been helpful in the inner child space of looking at certain ages where, let's say, your parents want you to behave. So, like, where is that element of perfection coming up as my block? Because I don't want to get in trouble, let's say, as my internal system. This isn't like I think anyone's going to call me up and get me in trouble, but my nervous system has something in it that says, if you don't do it perfectly, you're going to get in trouble. Oh, I don't want to get in trouble. So how do I take care of that? Through a number of means. For me, it's moving my body. I have a few friends that can talk to me within this sort of container where we can kind of work it out, breath work, as well as these meditations that I find helpful. And so just noticing, like, what's the thing that comes up consistently currently that has a possibility of blocking you from taking aligned action when you feel like your belief has become strong enough that you know that you can move forward. What's the first thing that arises? And sometimes if you can't see it clearly, it's helpful to have a friend, a coach. Depending on your relationship with AI, it could be helpful to write all your patterns into AI and see if it mirrors something back to you that's sort of easier to see when it's outside of yourself. And so the thing that I do notice, so I shift from convincing to belief. I shift into actions consistently. And then what comes up, something to just like note down, is the illusion of there's not enough progress. So then your monkey mind or your busyness and your ego say, I haven't made these wild shifts. I'm not a millionaire. Whatever the thing is that you believe you're actually working towards. What you're really working towards is your continual transformation of having a more open heart and being connected into the flow of the universe, in my opinion. And so what's really helpful if you fall prey to this, and I do this a lot with my clients because we find that it's very fast, the transformation that happens. I have 3 month or 6 month containers, and at 6 weeks, I'm often saying like, okay, great. The thing that you came here with, or you believed you came here with, has transformed. Let's look back. But they don't actually even fully clock it until we have those sort of stakes in the ground. So for you, it might be nice to write yourself a letter of where you are today, and then put it in your calendar, whatever calendar you tend to follow in terms of like Google Calendar or work or written planner, and actually write something out and like look back at where you truly were. And you'll notice over time those incremental shifts have added up. It might not feel like, poof, this thing happened that I was looking to happen, but you're probably far along the path because of the consistent behavior. And if the desire has changed, there's still got to be that acknowledgement that because you took action, you were able to right the ship. You were able to take yourself towards the direction of what you truly wanted, because those true desires became more evident with the action that was taken. So again, just really acknowledging yourself, the time that you're taking, the consistency, the being in flow and in that relationship. So, you know what could be really cool somatically would be to actually, if you had a body of water and a time of year was like to physically go in, if you find real resistance, and go stand in a body of water and let the actual physicality of water help you get back in flow. And so for you today, if you're in the space of, inaction or consistently still convincing yourself, the work is to move from convincing to believing. And then once in the belief, it's the creation of consistency for the culmination of energy and the reflection of what you're creating. And if you wanted to speed up, maybe you need someone to support you. If you want to get to your goals faster, maybe you need to hire people. But giving up isn't the option. It is the creation of the structures then, right? More structure so that your flow can be stronger, so that you can focus on that which you are creating. I hope that was helpful today. If you did want support, I do have space for new clients in January. Happy to reach out and connect, or whatever time you end up coming across this podcast. I'm always happy to connect and see if there's space within a one-on-one container or a group container or breathwork classes. And with that, I hope you have the most beautiful day.